Jim Schultz here for Calculated Risk, and don't forget, before we get started today, the best ways you can help us are by subscribing to the channel or liking the video. Both of those things really help us out a lot. So let's say you're looking at a stock and it's selling for $500, and you decide, man, I want to sell some premium in here. I want to do a little something to get some decay working for me, so I'm going to sell a strangle. So you sell a 450, 550 strangle, 450 put and a 550 call, and let's just say that you pick up $5 on the strategy. Okay, so that means that your break-even points are 445 on the downside and 555 on the upside. All right, let's say a couple days go by. It's pretty early on in the strategy's life, and all of a sudden the market moves and the stock moves and it runs all the way up to your break-even point on the upside. And you look at your P&L and you're down money. You look at your P&L and it's red. And you're like, that doesn't make any sense. I thought that was my break-even point. What is going on? That's what I want to unpack here today, and let's dive in. So this type of scenario happens all the time, right? You put on some strategy, you sell some premium, what have you, the market starts moving, it gets close to your break-even point. It happens early in the life of the trade. All of a sudden, you're losing money, and you're not quite sure why. Well, the main reason why that we're going to unpack over the course of the next, 4 to 6 to 19 and a half minutes is that your break-even point, when you look at like a fixed graph or you look at like some P&L diagram, that break-even point, that is at a fixed moment in time. That break-even point is associated with expiration only. The break-even point prior to expiration is a moving target. The break-even point prior to expiration is not necessarily that same point that you see on a graph that's showing your P&L, like you're looking at a long call, you're looking at a short call, you're looking at a long put, you're looking at a short put. When you measure the BEP on those type of graphs, that's all pointing forward to one moment in time, expiration. And so the reason why that break-even point at expiration is not your break-even point today or tomorrow or early on in the trade's life is simply because when you have a stock that moves closer to one of your short strikes, when it starts to test or threaten one of the short strikes on your strangle, the extrinsic value in the options is building up. The extrinsic value in the options is increasing because remember, the at-the-money strikes have the greatest extrinsic value. And so when you sell a strangle, like all is quiet, all is well, everybody's happy, nobody's getting hurt, you have but you have little extrinsic value in the options because they're both out of the money. So the extrinsic value is low on the options because they're both really far away from where the stock is. But if that changes and the stock begins to move, now the extrinsic value begins to build up. Now the extrinsic value begins to increase in those options, and specifically the one option that is being tested. And when you sell a strangle, or really any short premium strategy, but specifically with a strangle, you are neutral, right? You really want time to go by. You really want the calendar to just tick away. And if this happens early in the position's life, where it's only been a couple of days or a week or even a week and a half, and all of a sudden the stock really moves on one side or the other, there hasn't been enough time for the theta to really work down and kind of beat down that extrinsic value that's in the strategy. And now all of a sudden the delta effect of the stock's movement is going to overwhelm the theta that you've built up to that point. So now to really cement this home, let's pop into tastytrade and let's take a look. Okay, so I am inside of tastytrade. I've got Tesla pulled up here in the trade page, or on the option chain, I should say. If I open up the July options with 45 days to go, let's open this guy up and let's just examine the option chain, because the first thing I want to make sure that we all understand is that extrinsic values increase as you get closer to the at-the-money strike. So for instance, if I look at, you've got Tesla at about 420 right here. If I look at my 420 strike on either side of the market, right, look at the extrinsic value of a 355 put. That's really far away from where the stock is. That's really far out of the money. Well, look at a 370 put. It's a couple dollars more. Look at a 385 put. It's a few dollars more than that. And look at a 395 and a 405 and so on and so forth, all the way up to the at-the-money strike. Do the same thing on the call side. If I'm looking at an out-of-the-money call, I've got a 465, which is as far as I can go here on my screen. My extrinsic value on this 465 call is $13. Well, if I move closer to the strike, closer to the stock with my strike selection, the 455 strike is about $15.80, so about $2.50 more. The 440 strike is over $20. So another $5 essentially gets tacked on to the extrinsic value. And so when it comes to extrinsic value, hopefully you can see it is increasing as you get closer to the at the money strike. Now, right now, this is just a static scenario. We're just looking at, one moment in time effectively. The same principle is going to happen if I were to put a trade on and then the stock begins to move to where my strike is getting closer to the at the money strike. The same principle is going to apply. The extrinsic value in the strike that I selected on entry is going to increase. Case in point, let's say I sell this 370 put, and it has $7.75 of extrinsic value now. I sell this today, and then let's say tomorrow or the next day or even just a week later, Tesla goes down significantly. So Tesla is dropping. It's 400, it's 390, it's 388, whatever. The extrinsic value in this 370 put, it's not going to be $7.75 anymore. It's going to be $12 or $15 or $19 or some number above where it was when you put the trade on. Also notice, sticking with Tesla, just to kind of make our work here a bit simpler and cleaner, notice again that the at the money strike has the highest extrinsic value. So if I delete everything that's on the screen, you can see my 420 strike on both sides of the market. On the put side, it's $25.50. That is greater than the out of the money puts or the in the money puts. On the call side, it's almost $28. That is greater than the in the money calls. That is greater than the out of the money calls. Again, the at the money strike is going to command the highest extrinsic value. And lastly, I wanted to go ahead and pull up the curve view here just so you can see a visual representation of that short put at the 370 strike that we were referencing earlier. You can see obviously if Tesla rallies, that's going to be good. If Tesla goes down, that's going to be bad. And then here's my break-even point. It's going to effectively be my 370 strike minus my credit collected, so somewhere around 362 or 363. You see that right there. You can see the x-intercept where the graph crosses over the x-axis. Well, again, that point, that break-even point, that's static. That's fixed. That's for the third Friday in July. That is not for a week from today. That is not for tomorrow. That is not even for 2 weeks from today. Because again, the extrinsic value is going to fill up in the options, and it's almost certainly going to lead to at least temporary losses on the position, because when you sell options, you want extrinsic values to go down. If they move higher, that is working against you. Okay, so hopefully everything with break-even points and break-even point losses before expiration clicks a little bit now. Like you understand that, okay, that break-even point, it's one moment in time. It's at expiration. If my stock actually approaches the strike on my position too quickly, I can expect to have losses on that position. That's not an error. You didn't do anything wrong. The markets didn't do anything wrong. That is just the way options are priced because the extrinsic value is working against you. But again, remember, as long as the option finishes out of the money, that's what you want. It can even finish at the money if you like living on the edge. That's also going to be okay because it's moving towards a point where the extrinsic value is going to go away and you're going to be okay. But before that, temporarily, like in the interim, if extrinsic values are moving higher, that is going to work against you, and that is going to cause your break-even point at expiration to not necessarily be the same as your break-even point today, tomorrow, or next week. I hope that helped. I'll see you guys next time.